Hello everybody, it's Sandy Bakos here, and today is Saturday. I missed my Friday video. It's September 15th. I have notes because it's the only way I'll be able to get my way through this whole thing. Again, I did not vlog during the week. It's kind of a crazy week. Well, before we go there, first I want to welcome everybody. If you are new, I'm glad you stopped by. I hope that you enjoy my video and that you will subscribe. If you're a returning subscriber, I'm so happy you came back to visit with me today and help me along on this journey. I think I'm on multiple journeys, and those of you that have been here with me for a while understand what I'm talking about. If you are new, you'll find out. Okay, first I want to mention Olivia. She did come home from the hospital. I don't remember whether I mentioned that in last week's video. Really haven't heard anything else, so I'm assuming that she's doing okay. Usually no news is good news. It's been a crazy week because it's been an anxiety-ridden week for me. And for those of you who also have the anxiety problem, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I've been here, there, and everywhere, upside down, and back again. And I'm tired because I've not been sleeping well. I sleep, but I don't sleep soundly. So it seems like I never fall into a really deep sleep. So when I get up in the morning, I really don't feel rested. And for those of you out there who suffer from this, as I do, you will totally understand what I'm talking about and what this last week has been like for me. I think that I'm starting to come down. That's why I'm doing this video today. I needed something to help center me, get me at a point where I can say, okay, we're going to move forward now, and we're going to take this one step at a time. When you see how many whips I worked on this past week, you'll know it was crazy. I was crazy. Thank God my husband understands that when some of the things that I say to him, that I don't really mean them. They're not coming from the real me. They're coming from the anxiety-ridden me. And thankfully he understands that. And when I realize what I'm doing, I do apologize to him. So, let's go on from there. I did watch some new to me FLOSSTUBers, and I wrote them down, and I would like to share them with you, and I will also try to link them in the show notes below. I watched Broadway Stitcher, Carmen. She's from New York City. I caught her on video number 6, and she is very high energy. If you're looking for somebody who is really just peppy and ready to go, that's not me. But it is Carmen, Broadway Stitcher. Very enjoyable. The next one that I watched was Salt Box Stitcher. She is also a quilter, and I caught her on her FLOSSTUBE number 4. And the thing that stood out about her to me was how many blackbird designs that she is stitching and has stitched. So many. So if you are really into blackbird designs, you will want to check out her channel. The next one that I watched, and I got her on her first FLOSSTUBE, was Hot Mess Princess. And she does cross stitching and needlepoint, and she's also a blogger. I guess she's kind of well known out there in the blogging community, but now she is stepping into the FLOSSTUBE community. The next one that I watched was the Silver Stitcher. That's Lisa, and I picked her up on video number 22. so she's, you know, pretty well established. And the thing that I noted about her was that she was stitching a lot of the Prairie Schooler Santas. So those are the new to me floss tubers. So like I said, I'll link them in the show notes below, and you can check them out as you would like to. Okay, I did a little bit of trading this week, and did have a little kindness from Karen. And before I go into that, I want to put this out there. In the past, sometimes I don't mention people's names because I'm not sure whether it would be okay or not. Well, what I've decided to do, and I'm just going to put it out there, and I'll try to mention it in the next few videos so everybody will be aware, unless when you send me a rack or you send me any kind of stitchy kindness or an email, or we have any kind of a communication, unless you tell me not to use your first name, I am going to use your first name. I'm not going to give out last names, but if you have like a FLOSSTUBE channel name, I'll use that. So if that happens to have your last name in it, then I'll be using your last name. But if not, and you're just a watcher, or I don't like the way that sounds, that you're a watcher, but you're actually a floss tuber, you're maybe just not creating FLOSSTUBE videos, I won't use your last name unless you give me permission to do that and say, hey, go ahead, use my last name. I would like to hear it on a FLOSSTUBE. You know, maybe people do. I don't know. I'm trying to think about that. If I wasn't doing these FLOSSTUBE videos, would I want somebody using my first and last name when they were talking? I'm not sure. So we'll just put it out there that I will use first names only, and if you do not want your first name mentioned and you have sent me something, or we've had some kind of a communication that I will probably talk about on my FLOSSTUBE videos, then let me know. Say, don't use my name. I want to remain anonymous. Okay, so Karen, I have sent Karen a few, wrong pile. I have sent Karen a few charts that she won from my magazine charts and so forth, and she had asked me, could she send me something? So she sent me an email with some pictures in of some charts that she had and said, you know, choose whatever you would like. So I looked through what she had, and I didn't want to be piggish, so I chose a couple, and not so much that I'm trying not to be piggish, but I have a lot of charts now. And as I always say, I'm not getting any younger. So I try, or at least I think I try, not to accumulate more than I could stitch in a lifetime. And if I am 85 and I still can see to stitch and my hands still work to stitch and I run out of charts, 1, 2, 3 stitch is right there. The LNS is just up, down. So, you know, I can always get charts then. Okay, now, where was I? Okay, I was talking about Karen. Okay, and here's the right pile. And Karen sent me this cute little card thanking me for the charts that I had sent to her. And the two that I chose from what she sent to me was Paula Vaughn, Yesterday's Dreams, and this is a vintage chart. And you know, I really love Paula Vaughn's, and especially the ones that have like the quilts and the windows and stuff like that. That just, I don't know, it seems homey to me. It seems like cozy to me, and so those draw me in. So I look forward to getting to start this one. And I just banged myself in the head with it. And the other one that I got from Karen was called Seasonal Windows. Would you look at those? Those are beautiful. And I think these are going to go in, get started sooner rather than later. Just beautiful. So, and those are by Cross My Heart Incorporated. Designs by Jean Rye. And I don't think I've ever heard of that Cross My Heart Incorporated, but those, I love those. Okay, let's see. What else do I have next here? Okay, I'm going to do the giveaway for the charts that I showed. I don't know what video it was, but they were the ones where I was going to, must have been the video from the end of August. But anyways, I said I would draw for those on September 12th, and I drew for them today. But anyways, here they are. There was a couple that didn't have any interest, and I will put those upstairs and put them away. This one here was Santa with his reindeers, and this one was won by, I gotta make sure I pronounce this correctly, Beata in Germany. So this will be coming to you. And the next one is the Woodland Santa. And this one was won, get the glare off of it. Woodland Santa was won by Craft and Bev. And I'm pretty sure that I have your address, so I'm going to plan on getting that out to you. And then the only other one that had any interest was the ribbon kit. And I had two of them. And I only had one person request, and that was Carrie and Stitches in the UK. And Carrie, what I am going to do is I'm going to send you both of these, because I know you give away things on your channel. So you can keep one of these for yourself, and you can give one away on your channel. Okay? I hope that's okay with you, Carrie. And there's a reason why I'm going to go ahead and do that, and that is that I have pretty much reached the bottom of the barrel of all of the magazine charts that I had pulled out of magazines. I do have more magazines to go through, but with the anxiety issues I've been having, with some other issues related to my husband's Parkinson's, and with looking forward into Thanksgiving coming and Christmas coming, and just, I need to center myself right now. And so I'm not going to do any more chart giveaways for a while. And if my viewership falls off when people find out I'm not giving away charts, so be it. I hope that that's not the only reason why people are coming to visit, was to look for the charts, but it could be. And if it is, it is. What's my saying? It is what it is. And you know what? I keep hearing that more and more and more. I hear more people saying that. I hear it on TV shows. I hear it on movies. I don't watch many movies, but on movies that I watch on Netflix, I'm hearing it. So, and I know it didn't start with me. I heard it somewhere, and that was why I started saying it. But I don't know if it's because I'm saying it that I'm realizing so many other people are saying it, or what, but it is what it is. Okay, so I took care of that. No more charts for a while, maybe after Christmas, after the first of the year, and hopefully my anxiety will be under control, and I can start getting those out again and start giving them away, because I kind of enjoy doing that. So look for that after a few months. All right. I finished another book, and my hair is just such a mess, but I got a haircut, and it always takes at least a week before I feel comfortable in the new hair, and I'm not yet comfortable. So okay, this is the book that I was reading. Oh my gosh, this book is fantastic. It's a new book, Sandra Brown, Seeing Red. This book grabbed me by page 3. In fact, I think it already had me at page 1 and 2. I had to keep reading. Not very often does a book grab me that quickly. And usually the book has to set up the background. It has to set up the characters. This one went right into the thick of the... And very, very good. And so I would recommend this. It is a kind of like a mystery. There's not graphic, how do I want to put it? I don't like books that are graphically detail murder or things like that. I do not like those kind of books. They're not for me. And there are some sexual scenes in this book, but hey, I'll read that. I mean, but Sandra Brown, Seeing Red, I highly, highly recommend it. In fact, if I was giving a scale from 1 to 5, I would give this book an 8 because it just held me all the way through. There was no time in this book where I felt any kind of a drag sensation at all. Fabulous book. Okay, next. I have a finish. It's not fully finished, but I did get something to fully finish it with, and I'm going to show you here. This is my granddaughter's birthday gift. She's going to be 18 next month, and it's the actual name of this chart in the magazine was It's Almost Spring. And you know what? I brought a board down here so that I could, some foam core, so that I could put the stuff up on here and not have any backlight. So let me use it. I'm trying to be professional. Actually, it's my anxiety coming through. I'm just kind of, oh, I got to do this, and I got to do that, and I got to do the next thing. And so just bear with me because I'm not really me right now. I'm that other Sandy. Okay, there we go. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it so cute? Why am I, you know what? I'm like, why am I seeing those black lines there? That's because I put it up there backwards. What did I tell you about the anxiety? What did I tell you? Oh my goodness. You're seeing a side of me today that usually only my husband sees. I probably should have waited to do this, but then I would have been anxious about not getting my video out. Let's try this again. Isn't it beautiful? There are the beautiful little birds. Now, she wanted a pillow, so I went to the store the other day and I was looking because I looked upstairs and I didn't have anything, so I was looking for some coordinating fabric to put on the back, and I found this little fat border. And I thought that the darker blues in the flowers there would kind of pull out the darker, you know, play off the darker blues in the little birds. So there we go. So now I just have to get it fully finished. And I've got time, so I think we're going to be good. And just let me move this over here to the side. And we will go on. And let's see, what's next on my list? Okay. We'll leave this thing up here because I'm going to go into my whips in just a minute. I had mentioned before about the fact that I have some 18 count Aida, and I have decided that my eyes just don't want to stitch on an 18 count anymore. And so I think that I am going to put that up for sale. Now, one person did mention to me way back, couple of months ago, that if I did get rid of my 18 count, they were interested. Well, I emailed them and I sent them a list of everything that I had available and the price for it, and I got no response. So I don't know if their situation changed or what. It's here nor there. If you have any interest in 18 count, let me know. Send me an email. My email address is always in the show notes down below. And if I don't really hear too much of anything from anybody, maybe I'll show it in my next video so you can see exactly what I have available. It's not a ton of I have it written down here on a piece of paper. I had like I can kind of tell you what I've got. I had a 15 by 18 piece of Fiddler's Light oatmeal, and I was going to charge $2 for that. I had a 15 by 18 piece of ivory, and I was going to charge $2 for that. It's all less than what I paid for it. I had a 12 by 18 piece of Fiddler's Light. I was going to charge $1.50. And I had an 8 by 12 piece of Fiddler's Light that I was going to charge 50 cents. And I had an 18 by 21 piece of white opalescence that I was going to charge $3 for. And then I have, and if you've been watching me for a while and you saw way back when I started Japanese Garden, at one point I had pulled out this piece of 22 count. It's a huge piece, and I had cut a piece off of that. It's light blue. I had cut a piece off of that to try the Japanese Garden on, and then realized it was 22 count. It wasn't 18 count. I haven't measured that, but it's a huge piece. Plus I have the piece that I cut off, and it has a little bit of stitching in it, but that could be taken out. And I was going to charge $5 for that. So it's not a lot of money, and I was going to say that you'd have to pay for your own shipping. So if anybody's interested, let me know. I would like to kind of sell it, at least all the 18 count together, and then if somebody else wanted the 22 count. But I figured, you know, I'm not going to use it. I might as well get it out of here. All right, that said, whips. Oh my gosh, did I whip this week? Okay, I had been working on Quaker Diamonds when I did the last video, and I said I was going to do some more on it, which I did. And let's pull it up here, and let's see if I can get it. I want to make sure, now that I put the other one on there the wrong side, I want to make sure I get this one up here the right way and show you the right thing and straighten it out a little bit. And there we go. I was working over here. Yep, I was working on this side. I had to turn it around so I could see it. I was working over here, so I did some more in here. So that's where I'm at with Quaker Diamonds. It's beautiful. I love it. It is on 14 count hand-dyed dense fog. It's a Jovel and Ada, and it's a wonderful piece of fabric that I got at my local needlework store. And I am doing this not in the Valdani. I am doing this in Weeks and Gentle Arts. Okay, the next one that I worked on was the quilt blocks. And these quilt blocks were designed by Lynette at Homesteading on the Home Front. And this is the whole piece. And I was working on this one right here, and I finished it. So I have one more to do, and that's going to be this one up here is going to come down here. So I have one more to do. And this is 14 count rose petals, hand-dyed Ada, which I also got at my L&S. And that is a gift for my daughter. Her birthday was last month, so I'm late. And she had decided she'd like that done into a wall hanging, so we'll be doing that. Next one is Frederick the Literate, which is a Dimensions kit. Try to get the glare off of there. And so I worked on that one. And this one is 14 count brown Ada. It's not what came in the kit. It is a 14 count. I tried to iron it a little bit. And I had been working down in here, and then I went up and I did there was some fill in up here, and then I did some of this along in here. So I hope you can see that. When I'm looking at it on the screen, it's looking terrible. Absolutely terrible. Like you can't even see it. But that could just be what I'm getting. I have noticed that, like right now when I'm looking at the screen, it's looking totally grainy, it's looking washed out, but then when I play the video back later, it's not quite so bad. So I'm hoping it's not quite so bad. All right, next one I did, Home Sweet Home, which is a Design Works kit. Hope you can see that. And what I did was I went, you can see what I had done, and then what I did this time was I started up here and I did the dog's ears and the top of his face, and that was as much as I did on that one. So there we go. Let me put that one over here. The next one that I worked on was my scarecrow, and I had told you that I was going to get him out, and you hadn't seen him in a long time. And this was from the Big Book of Holidays. I was working on this last fall, got all the cross stitches and everything finished, but then I needed to go in and finish the back stitch because I never finished the back stitch. So I was working on it. In fact, I have a, pardon my thread coming up here. I have a needle stuck in it up here, but I'm going to try to get that up there close enough to where you can see that. And so you can see I've got a lot of the back stitch done in there, but a lot of the back stitch around the scarecrow needs to be done, and around his shirt, and he's got straw sticking out in different spots that I have to put in there. So I will be continuing to try to get a little bit done on that, so that I'd like to get him done by not too much after the 1st of October. So we'll work on it. The next one I worked on, see, I told you, I just was going crazy here. Next one I worked on was Spring Montage. And I'll tell you, what actually happened was, you know, I was using that decision roulette, and I got totally pissed off at it. And pardon me for using that word, but I told you I do occasionally. I really got upset with that thing. It kept choosing the same ones that I had just worked on over and over and over. And I had been working on the Frederick, and it picked Frederick again. And I had just worked on Frederick not that long ago. And I was like, okay, come on. I got, you know, 15, 16 whips here. Let's pick something else. So I did it again, and it picked something else that I had just done. I think it picked Quaker Diamonds again. And I was like, oh, come on. So the anxiety was already, you know, and that was just making it worse. So I was sitting here, I just sat down in the chair and was just like, and looked out, and I saw that in the same box that I keep Frederick in, I had Home Sweet Home. And so I thought, you know what, it's here, it's right there, I'm just going to go over there and pull it out, and I'm going to stitch on it, which was what I did. So then the next time that I spun it, it came up for this one. And so this is a Janlin kit, and I will show you, and I have threads. I always have threads. So just pardon my threads. All right. I had done most of this here, and I had done all of this down in here, and just a little bit of this black along here. So what I did this time was I went in and I finished all of these blocks, finished all of this cross stitching that went in this whole area, and then I took the back stitching across, and I still have more back stitching in here to do, but I got a lot done on that. And then I went down and I thought, you know what, that's a big block of black that I've got to stitch in there. There's several more rows of black, so I thought I better go down there and start stitching in some of that black. So I did that. So that's where I'm at with that one. And then I spun the wheel, and it kept coming up with the same things over and over. So I thought, all right, I really do want to use this, but I don't want it to rule me, and I don't want it to make me more anxious than I already am. So what I decided to do was I spun it 3 times, took note of which whips came up each time, and then I chose one of the 3. And one of the 3 that came up that particular time was Shades of Summer. And Shades of Summer is my Artisy, and this is like doing a Hade. It is total confetti. It's huge. The stitch count on this one is 300 by 234, and I love it. And so I had been working across the top. Try to get this up here to where you can see it. I had been working across the top. And there's all that white and all that blue for all that sky. And I looked over here and I thought, yep, that's more of that. I mean, it does get into some trees and stuff over here, but it's still, there'd be a lot more of that. So I thought, well, I want to stitch something a little different. So what I did, and let me fold this a little bit so I can have a little bit better control of what we're looking at here. And let me stick these up here on the top. And I'm sorry if I'm taking forever here, but I'm trying. Okay, here we go. What I did was I went over here, and there was a few stitches. This was page 1 here, and there was a few stitches on the bottom of page 1 that I had not filled in. So I went in, started filling in what needed to be filled in yet there. Then I came down, and again, I have threads. And I came down here, and oh my gosh, well, you can see almost every single one of those stitches is a different color. So I worked on this a lot, but it's really, really slow going. And because the chart is not a huge chart, what I have to do is, as I put a stitch in, I have to mark it off. And then go to the next row and look to see if there's any in that row. And I have to mark them off one at a time, so it just takes me a long time. And I had this in an 8-inch square Q-snap. So I have to keep putting that down, get the marker, mark my chart. I'll be lucky if I get this done in my lifetime. But you know what? I'm going to work on it. Can't give up. Got to keep plugging away at it because I really do like confetti. It's just that it's time consuming. So at the end of the day, I don't feel like I made much progress. Even though I've put in maybe 4 hours of stitching, you wouldn't know that by looking at what I've done. Okay, I'm done with the whips. That was all I did. Okay, I do have just a couple of more things to show you. I had been doing my crocheting, and this was the infinity scarf that I had been doing for my granddaughter, and this is all I have left of the skein. So I'm going to be showing this to her at some point. She's the one who's at college, so I'll have to wait till I can get to her to have her try this around her neck, see if she wants it sewn together or whether she wants it kept long and open as a scarf. But there it is. We have pretty much, might as well say we have completion. And I don't know if I'm showing you the right side or the wrong side, but anyways. So I'll be starting another one of those here soon. And this week, Wednesday, my husband had a doctor's appointment with the neurologist for his Parkinson's. And they have, again, suggested speech therapy, and my husband has finally decided that he will go for the speech therapy. And so we're just waiting to hear back from them on that. And we had a discussion with the doctor about the memory problems and the the problems with reasoning, to get to know that, say it takes 4 steps to do this process, and he could know how to do it today, and tomorrow he can't remember what those 4 steps are. So, and it's especially difficult with like his smartphone, to know how to, he'll see he has a text message and there'll be the little number 1 there, but he can't figure out how to get to the text message, especially if he left some other text message open, because then when he hits the text message button, it shows something else, not the new one, and he can't figure out how to get back there. It's difficult. So we had a discussion about that with the doctor, and the doctor has prescribed a patch for him. And I got a notice from the insurance company today, from where we get our prescriptions mailed. They said that they sent it today. So it's supposed to help with memory. So I fingers crossed that this is going to be something that will work for him with no adverse side effects. His response was, well, at least it's not another pill. So, because he already takes so many. And then I was trying to figure out, how the doctor said, just have him do these things, don't do them for him. So, but, it gets, after a while, it gets annoying when you keep getting asked the same things over and over and over. So I had suggested doing this once before, and my husband didn't want anything to do with it, and I have brought it up again, and he has now said, yeah, I think it might work. So I'm going to have a notebook and divide it into sections. One will be about the computer, one will be about the cell phone, and whatever else comes up that we think we need to write the things down. And I will write the step-by-step directions for different things in there, have him go over them and do them and make sure that he can follow it. And then instead of coming back to ask me every single time, he will need to go to the notebook and try to do it himself. And then I said, if you've tried it using the notebook and you still can't get it, then come to me. Maybe it will help alleviate some of the anxiety that I'm feeling. And I hate to use this terminology, but sometimes I feel very put upon. That, why can't he just do it? Anxiety, and that's when I spout off and say something that I shouldn't have said, and then I have to apologize. So I'm hoping, I have high hopes that this is going to be a step, several steps in the right direction. Okay, now we did that on Wednesday. On Thursday, I went to lunch with a group from my church, ladies. We go out to lunch once a month. We got to go to Red Lobster. And I never get to go to Red Lobster because Bob doesn't like Red Lobster. So I really enjoyed that. And I ate 4 of those Cheddar Bay biscuits. If you know what I'm talking about, you know. Oh my gosh, those things are so good. So that was really enjoyable. And then yesterday, my anxiety level was just, woo. So I suggested to my husband, I said, let's get out of the house. My anxiety had been too high for me to do much of anything all week except this crazy stitching, just something different all the time. And so I said, if I stay in this house, I'm going to be anxious about the stuff that's not getting done, but yet I haven't slept good. I feel too tired to do any of this work. So I said, maybe if we just get out of the house, it'll help. So we took off and we headed down to an Amish restaurant in Belleville, Ohio, and it's off of Interstate 71. And we went down there and we had a fabulous buffet lunch at this Dirt Dutchman. And then when we left there, we headed over to a place in Shelby, Ohio. It's called Glenn's Surplus, and it's a surplus store, and most of the stuff in there is man-oriented, but they do have some stuff that appeals to females. And I did find a couple of things there. I got these little ornaments. I got 3 of these for my granddaughters for Christmas. They really love Christmas ornaments, and these were 98 cents a piece. So I got 3 of these. And then they had these. This is like it's called a storage container, and it's collapsible. As you can see, it's in this little package, and it's fabric, like a canvas. And you open this up, and it says it's 11.5 wide by 8.5 deep by 4.75 inches high. And I thought, well, I'm sure I can come up with something for this, and it was only $2.50. And I also got a couple of 8.5 by 11 picture frames for $2.50 each. So I thought I made a pretty good deal there. And then from there, we went also in Shelby, Ohio. We went to a store called the Sportsman's Den. And it is basically an outdoor shop. My husband goes there to buy ammunition for his guns, for the ones that he doesn't do reloading for. And I didn't even go in. I had brought a magazine along so that I could just sit in the car and look at the magazine, and he went in and did his shopping. And then we headed home, and my anxiety level was better, I think, and him and I had some time together in the car during the ride, and we talked about a lot of stuff. And it's when we discussed about using the notebook and stuff, and it was a good afternoon, and it helped, I think, to start bringing those levels down. And I know I've got this reflection on my glasses, I'm sorry. But anyways, great day, great afternoon. It's sunshiny here, but very, very humid. And we have a few sunshiny days in a row, and then we're going to get the hurricane remnants are going to come through. And it's just, they said we'll get some rain, but it's not. I don't even think we're going to get as much rain as we got from the one that came up from the Gulf. So a lot of people probably don't realize that when those hurricanes come up from the Gulf, eventually we get them in Ohio, and sometimes we get them bad. It depends on how bad the storm was. Some years ago, I forget which hurricane it was, but we lost 4 40 to 50 foot pine trees. It was so much rain and so much wind, and those things just toppled one right after another. Cost $3,000 to repair all that, get new trees in there. And we needed it because at that time, our neighbors on that side of our property, they had junk cars in the backyard. They had chickens in the backyard. They had crap everywhere, and we didn't want to see it. So we had a choice, put a fence up or put some new landscaping in there, and I really didn't want to look at a fence, so we paid the money for the new trees. But anyways, oh my gosh, I've gone on now. We're heading into 43 minutes, so I'm going to let you all go. Have a good week. Send out my love and hugs to everybody. Take care. I hope everybody is safe in the areas that the hurricane is coming through, and everywhere else in the world. There's calamities everywhere. So take care. Love to everybody. Bye.